Who does Napoleon Bonaparte think he is? And why do people still admire this short guy with a big ego? Napoleon Bonaparte, the self-proclaimed Emperor of France, strutted around Europe like he owned the place. Born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, he wasn't even fully French, but he sure acted like France was his personal playground. This guy had ambition, no doubt. He rose quickly through the ranks of the French army during the chaos of the French Revolution, using his cunning and ruthless tactics to climb to power. But let's not kid ourselves. He didn't just rise to power, he clawed, schemed, and bulldozed his way there. Once he had the reins of France, Napoleon decided that being a general wasn't enough. He needed a crown. So, he crowned himself emperor in 1804. Because why not? It wasn't enough to just lead the country. He needed the whole world to bow down to him. He embarked on a series of wars, known as the Napoleonic Wars, to spread his empire far and wide. He fancied himself a strategic genius. But let's be real, he was just a guy with an oversized ambition and an appetite for chaos. His so-called brilliant tactics often resulted in massive bloodshed and destruction. And what about his so-called reforms? Sure, the Napoleonic Code brought some legal order, but it also reinforced patriarchal control and limited individual freedoms. Women were pushed further into the background, and free speech was pretty much a joke under his regime. But hey, he had shiny medals and grand parades, so who cared about little things like freedom and equality, right? Napoleon's biggest blunder was his invasion of Russia in 1812. Thinking he could conquer the vast, freezing expanse of Russia with ease, he marched his grand army straight into disaster. The Russian winter, along with scorched earth tactics, decimated his troops. By the time he limped back to France, he had lost a significant portion of his army. But don't worry, he still managed to find excuses and blame everyone but himself. Even after his fall from grace and his exile to the island of Elba, Napoleon couldn't stay put. He escaped and made a dramatic return to power for a brief period known as the 100 Days. But his comeback was short-lived. At the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, his forces were decisively defeated, and he was sent to a much more remote island, St. Helena, where he lived out the rest of his days, plotting imaginary conquests and rewriting history in his favor. So, why do people still admire Napoleon? Maybe it's the allure of his dramatic rise and fall or the myth of the great military genius. But strip away the legend, and what you have is a man who was more of a megalomaniac than a hero. He left a trail of destruction across Europe, disrupted countless lives, and all for what? A fleeting moment of power and a legacy of arrogance. Napoleon Bonaparte, just another guy with an inflated ego who thought he was destined to rule the world.